garment sewing to me, I think, is phenomenally easy. I know it's something I've done all my life, but I think it's really easy if you just kind of get over a few little hurdles.
Well, I want to ask you about these fashion shows. Now, they actually have a fashion show where people have produced a garment from your patterns, and then they do a show. Now, where would a show like that be?
Well, there are all over. Sometimes you will have a guild, a sewing guild in any town across the nation, where they created garments from various patterns, mine and other people's, and commercial patterns, and they get together and they have a fashion show. My design group, we attend the International Textile Expo in Las Vegas, and we work up the designs of our patterns in the fabrics that are contributed by the fabric manufacturers. So it's kind of we're both promoting each other, the fabric manufacturers and the designers, and then we put on a runway show to open up an expo. So, and then we get just hired to do that, and it helps the buyers that are coming through to see what that fabric looks like in that particular design or any particular design. It kind of just gets those creative juices going. This is what I do. Because those buyers are going to be either small manufacturers and maybe trying to come up with their own designs, or they're going to be stores that are going to be selling patterns and fabrics and thinking, how can I get my customers excited? And then they see what's going on, and then they can recreate that in their store.
Fantastic. That's great. So back to my other question, where do you see fashion going?
Excuse me, yes. Where do I see fashion going? What I see a lot of is I love people that, like me, that want to step outside the box, that kind of want to think ahead of the game. And I see a lot of using technology in fashion. Right now, it's trial and error, and a lot of it is really fun, and a lot of it is just, kind of flops, but you don't know what's going to happen until you try something. That's what I love about, creative sewing and thinking, is trying things. So I see these garments that are walking with billboards basically on them, and using technology. There's just some amazing things out there in garments, where garments are actually free form. They are coming to life. They are not just fabric on a body, but they are actually their own entities. And that's where I see the future of fashion, where it's not just a garment, it's an event.
Well, that's great. You kind of remind me of the fashion gala in New York. You see some really wild things there, and but some of them they're really sharp. So if you were to get a particular message across to our listening audience and to the people in your world, what would you want that message to be?
That message would be to not be afraid. Not be afraid to try, not be afraid to make a mistake. Just do it. Just go out there, try and create something. If you have any inkling, you think, I like sewing, but I don't know if I can attempt that, just do it. I mean, it's just a little fabric, it's just a little sewing. You may break your finger, but you never know until you try. And you may just find out that you have a real gift in the sewing industry and creating something new. And if not else, you're going to look fantastic in whatever you make.
So where do you see the Dana Marie Design Company going in, let's say, the next 3 to 5 years? I mean, how long have you been doing this, Dana?
Well, I've been doing this for a while. This is my 31st year. And as any business, it ebbs and flows and reinvents itself here and there. I love to design, but I also really like to get my skill set out there and get people learning. So I see Dana Marie Design in the future really kind of sharing that knowledge and passing it along and helping people to, find their own inner soul and mentor and get out there and do the fun things that's involved with textiles, whether that's pattern making, just sewing, being a seamstress, being a fashion designer, being a sample maker. There's all kinds of fun things to do in the textile industry, and I hope to be able to share some of that with people.
So do you think that, you say you've been in the business for 31 years, and I'm sure, as you said, there's been ups and there's been downs. What would you say was the biggest obstacle that you faced? Because the women listening to this, I mean, some of them say, yeah, she says, just go out and do it. It's not that easy. What are some of the obstacles that you faced?
Well, some of the obstacles are one, making a living at it. That's not always easy in a what is considered sometimes a hobby industry. There are niches, and sometimes you get really good at them, and sometimes you don't. But the biggest obstacles is to just not um, give up. That's always tough when you're trying to survive financially, when you're trying to survive, feed your family, take care of kids, feed your animals, all those type of things. And we all tend to want to take the easy route. And sometimes you really just have to push yourself beyond what you think you can do and know that you can do more.
So, do you employ anybody with you, or are you the chief cook and bottle washer?
I am the chief cook and bottle washer at this time. When I have excess work, I will contract out. I hire out my illustrators. I will hire out different aspects of creating garments. I hire out what is done for web companies and hosting and things like that. So, but as for running the show, that's kind of me. I, tend to like doing that. In the past, I've had extra help. It just depends on how busy you get and how many things you've got going on to how much help you need. I love having, virtual help, virtual assistants and stuff like that, because you can hire the best of the best and they don't necessarily have to live next door.
Well, that's true. And of course, I think the important message to our listeners is that whether you want to build a huge company or whether you want to be a solopreneur or whether or not you want to have a business that you build that you will sell. I mean, these are all individual thoughts that you have to have and look at. But the point is, and I think Dana Marie is a real good testimonial to this, and that is just go out and try. I mean, if you don't try, you'll never know. But it will not be easy. I mean, all of us in business, and this is my 57th year, all of us in business, we all have trials and tribulations and things we don't expect and people that try to block us and then people that try to help us. So we just really need to be able to have that gumption to stick with it. And I think that it's fabulous that in an industry, as you say, that has been considered a hobby industry, that you have done so well. So I want to make sure we give your websites again. You've got the one, which is, I think, DanaMarieDesign.com. Is that correct?
That's right. DanaMarie.com.
Oh, DanaMarie.com. So go to Dana Marie, and that's DANA, 1A, and Marie, MARIE, DanaMarie.com. And then you have this other site where they can purchase, the instruments and things they need to make this happen. And what is that one?
TheSewingPlace.com.
TheSewingPlace.com. I just think it's fantastic, Dana, what you've done. And we've got about 2 minutes left. Is there something that you would like to share with our audience that we haven't talked about?
Well, there's so many things to share in 2 minutes, but really what I find, and I see this over and over again when I do trade shows and when I'm talking to women who really do enjoy sewing and love sewing, and we find ourselves, a lot of people that I talk to, saying that just feeling like they're not good enough, or they don't, I could do the same thing. They'll see my samples, oh, but you're so good at this, and you know how to do this, and it's like I don't really take it for granted because I know it's a skill that I have, but it's just because I've done it over and over and over and over again.
That's true. That's true. I can believe that that's the way it is. And, that's one of the things that I think is so important. You just have to keep trying it, whatever it is. And thank goodness there are people like you, because we need to have people like you as our inspiration. If everybody could do it, then you wouldn't be special. So it's important for everybody to do the best they can and try as much as they can, because there's a place for everybody doing whatever their thing is. So, Dana, I want to really, really thank you for being on the show today. I think it's an inspiration for people who may want an at-home business. I think it's a great type of business for someone who might have young children or, doesn't want to leave the home to work because they do want to be with their kids. So I think this is fantastic. And I really want to thank you for being with us today. I think it was a great show, and I hope a lot of people get in touch with you.
Thank you, Gail. I enjoyed it so much. I love talking about fashion and sewing, and I hope that this helps some people out there maybe kind of think I can do it too.
Fantastic.